Yeah, we're glad you made it. Pull up a chair. Pull up a chair. This is where your faith gets activated. Hey!
From your car right to your kitchen, from the office to your street. If you're tired, if you're searching, there's a welcome at the seat. Got some laughter, got some truth, got a fire we can't contain. Sit down like family, leave standing up change, oh yeah. Welcome to the porch and the pulpit, where the real talk meets the word. Where your story meets his promise, every heart, every hurt. Cheryl and James say, come on, let your hope rise. Sing, let it live. Welcome to the porch and the pulpit. This your midweek Sunday gift. Hey, hey. Bring your questions, bring your scars, bring the things you never.
Welcome to the Porch Pulpit, where faith and everyday life meet real conversation. I'm Cheryl.
I'm James.
Here, let's talk about it.
Yes.
So how you doing today, James?
Everything is good. Everything is good today. We had a full day ministering and just giving glory to God.
Last week we for the last two, we had a part 1 and a part 2. We were exploring gender roles in society and the church.
Right.
And we delved into men and their feelings and how they deal with things emotionally and in society and deal with things with women and things like that, and also their role in the church and some of their views. I mean, we went over views or things that as far as men and opening up and things like that. So so in dealing with the men, of course, we had to come around to the
Gotta
women
make it equal.
and get the women's point. Yes, it gotta make it equal. Yes. So today we're gonna be James has a series of questions and I'm gonna be jumping in. That's the so those that know and been watching our podcast, we know we're on part 6 now. I think we're on episode 6 now.
Yes.
That we've been
Yes.
doing all of these episodes. So a lot of times I'm throwing out the questions and James is pretty much jumping in and we bounce back and forth. So today James
That's right.
seat and he's gonna
Put
be
her on the
asking
hot
the
seat.
questions
Hot
and I'm
seat.
gonna be on the hot seat.
On the hot seat.
All right.
We got about 45 to 100 questions because I just want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. But we try to figure
All
out what's
right.
going on in the psyche of our women. Right now, we just got a few questions. So yeah, the last week I was on the
Alrighty.
hot seat, and this week we're going to put Cheryl in the spotlight and just ask some basic questions. So we're gonna start with some easy ones. They call these like little lobs, little easy ones. You can just right up the park. So, based on your childhood, like you coming up, what messages did you receive about it should be? Did you receive any messages from your parents or your guardians? Maybe you had that what do they call it, bonus mom or proxy mom that kind of gave you some nuggets when you were coming up. So what did they tell you about what a good woman should be?
Well, I grew up in a 2-family home, so I did have my mom in the house. One thing I learned from my mom, was hard work. Also, the roles don't just apply to one person. When I say that, that means that, I always saw chores and things divided in my house. I never saw it where it was just all on one person. My father, he knew how to cook, he knew how to iron. My mother, she knew how to cook, she knew how to iron. They both knew how to clean and things like that. So it wasn't just one person doing something in the home. They both used to divide, certain things. Even if my father cooked cooked during the week, always was food and things in the house. My mom, from the time I can remember, she was always so pretty much, having a strong faith. was something that I saw, also my grandmother.
Okay.
My
Mhm.
grandmother was also my father, he came from a so my grandmother other side. I saw she was a very humble woman.
Mhm.
I saw that from her humble. I went to a church, a prominent church in Manhattan.
Mhm.
So she was always, involved in going to church and things like that. And one thing I always liked about her was that she never anybody. She always got to see, would listen. She was a good
Right.
listener. So that was one of the good qualities that I liked about her, and I saw displayed from her was that she was a good listener. So she would
Mhm.
always, listen to somebody and get to know them. She didn't just judge them off of what she saw and things like that.
Okay.
So a lot of people within the community or even in our family, from my father's side or whatever, my cousins and things like that used to love, they used to call her. She had a chain 5 o'clock in the morning and they would call her just to talk and get guidance from
Right. So
her
she was like a
and things
pillar in
like
the
that.
community.
So, right, she was a pillar in the community. And then when it came to me, being in church, I had some women who were in the church who got a lot of nuggets from whether it was in Sunday school and the Sunday school leaders or just ministries. I was able to get certain things from from them as just especially as for my
Mhm.
spirituality at a young age they were
So they would
and telling me
pour into
different
you
things.
different things,
Yes.
you know. So that's so
Mhm.
rewinding back to your parents. So you said you grew up in a two-parent home,
Mhm.
and the household responsibilities were basically divided between one cooking, one
Yes.
cleaning, and swapping. No, how
Right.
did does that affect you today? Or for a better question, have you been told something contrary to experience growing up?
Definitely believe that, in society that a lot of people have not necessarily men have to work.
Hmm.
But I mean, they can work, but the all of the
Hmm.
responsibility of what happens in the home.
Right. So it's like a dual
And
purpose,
that's
dual.
yes.
Yeah.
Right, right, exactly. I believe that society puts it that no matter what a woman does, that she has to share a lot of what happens in the home when it's, she, because a lot of times these women don't get to just sit at
Hmm.
home and, take care of the home full time or take care of the kids full time. So, a lot of single mothers and things like that, or even if they're married, the the responsibility is your responsibility to take care of the kids. It's
Hmm.
your
Yeah.
responsibility to cook and clean and things like that. And the man comes home, it's a hard
Right.
day and
Right.
everything, but he basically can just come home. Oh, he can pat the kids on the head
Yeah, and that'll
thing
be
and stuff
yeah.
like that. Right. And he can still go on and that was not my upbringing as far as,
What you explained.
my father
Hmm.
was very right. My father was a person that used to, he worked, he was an accountant, and my mother was a nurse's aide. So they both worked. They were both
Hmm.
professionals. So they used to both do,
Hmm.
with one couldn't come to school to drop me off to school or
Hmm.
whatever. My father would drop me off to school. My mother would be home because she worked nights,
Right.
so she would come home. He would responsibility
Hmm.
of a lot of
And
things.
that's I like that.
So
I like that
yes.
because
Mhm.
when
Yes.
you when you say those things to me, that's modern. That's an example day
Mhm.
parenting. Okay, not like um to where you have the husband or going to work and the woman taking care of the house. That's her sole responsibility. Today in
Right.
modern society,
Mhm.
those roles either change or combine. Because now
Right.
you see my perspective is now you see more of a partnership. because now
Right.
in today's
Exactly.
society, with both parents working, and if you have
Mhm.
children, you both have to, if the husband get home first, then he can start the cooking or picking up the kids from the school, vice versa, those types of things. So they're interchangeable. It's not like
Right.
back in the, I guess, the 40s, 50s, in some cases the 70s, to where you have those parents to where the husband comes home, it's 5 o'clock, and food got to be.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? It has to be five
Right.
o'clock, and
Exactly.
that 9 to 5 was really 9 to 5. They go to work at 9, they get off at
R-
5. Was no overtime, was no none of this stuff. And they would come home,
Right.
pop that paper open, and you got to have dinner on the table, ready to go 5:30 latest, because they ate early.
Right.
Wasn't no late suppers and this and that. Got it ready. Otherwise, what you been doing all
Exactly.
day? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think in those cases, in both cases,
Mhm.
they're both jobs. They're both responsibilities. He's bringing home the paycheck. She's taking care of the home. But some things are interchangeable. So when you
Right.
bring it up to today's standards, and you got two people working 8 hour plus jobs,
Right.
okay,
Mhm.
y'all have to work something out to where there's a balance. So those sorts
Exactly.
of
Exactly.
analogies and antiquated and outdated when it comes to
Exactly.
uh, everything being cemented. This is the man's role. This is the female role. I like to cook. I love
Mhm.
cooking, so I do most of the cooking.
Right.
You know, my son is like,
Right.
he's like, hey, listen, I said, go ask your mom, you know, what we have for dinner. And he'll
Mhm.
look at me like, huh?
Right.
But you, you the chef. You don't cook. You cook it. I said, okay, but
Mhm.
I like doing it, so I don't have a problem.
Right.
I think we have to to our strengths. When it comes to responsibilities, at home. So I'm gonna ask you another question. I want to say a
Okay.
phrase to you. Tell me what you think about this phrase.
Mhm.
Man works from sun to sun, but a woman's work is never.
I think that's true to a certain extent, that a woman's work is never
Hmm.
done. We are always, like I said, society, and we're talking about society. This is not every home, but again, society looks at it as men are the ones to go outside of the home and they're the breadwinners and they're the one when my parent from down was from no, one was from North Carolina, other was South
Hmm.
Carolina. And it's so funny because I talk about how they were together and how I was brought up and what I saw that was contrary to what it is from where they came
Right.
from. Because again, men did everything
Hmm.
outside of the home, took care of all of the other things outside of the home. And the woman, like I said, her whole responsibility is taking care of the household, all the cooking, the
Hmm.
cleaning, the taking care of the children, suffer so getting them back and forth and everything like that. So when you say the phrase, yes, that's society's view,
Hmm.
but again, you have to do what is
For
best for
your
you
for
and
your
your
for your
home
home.
and not
Hmm.
right and what's not, there are men now who stay at home and take
Yes.
care of
Yes.
the children, and women go out and
Hmm.
work because they make more money or the type of profession and things that they
Hmm.
are in, and things like that. So you have to do what you feel is best for your
Hmm.
home and what's best for you and not go by what society says that we should do.
Right.
That has changed.
A lot of it has changed because, yeah, a lot of it is an
Right.
evolution
eh, right.
of genders.
Exactly. And if you're a woman and you're fine with that and you want to be, and there's nothing wrong, and I don't want it to be put out anything wrong with a woman that stays at home and doesn't work and everything, and the man goes and he does. I think that regardless of whether it's the man or the woman that stays at home or anything like that, that their own
Hmm.
responsibilities. If I don't, when I hear men say, well, I all day and I've been working and things like that, and the woman is at home and she's not doing okay, now let's look at that. Okay, yes, she might be at
Hmm.
home, but she is taking care of children,
Yeah.
especially if she has small children. But women, it's not so wrong for a man to say that he expects to have a
Yeah.
meal when
Right.
you at home.
Right.
They do things on a
Yeah.
schedule.
And I think, yeah.
Okay, so even if you know, and even still, my I worked when I with my husband. He passed now, but still, when he was alive, we used to split things. My thing was, it wasn't that I always had to cook, but it was always something in the
Right.
house. Okay.
Hmm.
So if I was coming home, it was a phone call. What you want to eat today? If I was going to get home first
Hmm.
or something like that. He knew how to cook. So, there was things that we did like that.
Hmm.
So, it's the same thing. Let's make sure that there's some food in the house or something for somebody to come home to, whether it's the man or
Well,
the
yeah.
woman,
Right.
whether
Hmm.
he's sitting at
Hmm.
home, right? Whether he's sitting at home and he's taking sure that there's a meal so I'm
Can
getting home.
somebody get in the kitchen and do something?
Let's
And
do
because it
something.
doesn't make sense to have to keep pushing antiquated and outdated ideas and
Exactly.
expect those
Exactly.
things to work in a modern day function of a household. You know, I mean, it's
Exactly.
like, listen, I
Exactly.
cook, I wash the clothes, and back in the day, where you have parents, in the house and the wife is home, she has a responsibility in the home. And what I think what used to happen and probably still happens in some cases was that some men think, oh well, she's home all day, she's not doing anything.
Right.
So how do
Exactly.
you supposed to get paid? How do you think the clothes get
Right.
washed? How do you the house is clean, your meals are cooked? She's doing something. You don't know
Exactly.
she's doing
Exactly.
something.
Or right. Or right. Or you want to look at what your mama
And
did.
that's the thing.
Okay, that was your mama house. You know what I'm saying?
See, I didn't want to
Okay,
go. I didn't
so
want to go there,
therefore,
but you open the door. Go ahead.
so, sometimes, again, men look at women and they want to compare them to their mothers. Like some women compare
To
men
their
that they
fathers, yeah.
marry or whatever to their
Hmm.
fathers. But still, again, we're not your mother.
Hmm.
So you looking at us and wanting, it's a good thing, you have a roadmap. You saw some wonderful qualities in your mother and things like that. So when you marry a woman, you look at the woman and you like, oh, okay, has a lot of qualities of my mother. But at the end of the day, when you
She's
get
not your
married and
mother.
things like that, she's not. You're no longer cleaving to your mother.
You cleaving to your wife.
You're right. Now you're cleaving to your
And
wife, and again, everything that she
you
do
said
it,
something
she
very.
has
You
to
said
come up
something
with
very
her
good.
own
You said
ways.
something very very important.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you look for the qualities, certain qualities. That's in your wife that your mother may have had. To me, that's the basis.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Right.
foundational principles that you look for. Okay,
Yes.
and once you find that wife and y'all get married, then mama is basically like mama over there, and your wife is
Right.
who you cling to and cleave to, and those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
That's the responsibility. So that's what what you do, and it's not like she's your mom because she's not gonna do everything like your mom. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you can't
No.
have like, okay, well, my mama used to make, she didn't make the cocoa like you make the cocoa. She didn't call
Right.
cocoa cocoa. She could
Exactly.
even hot chocolate, you know, stuff
Right.
like that. You know,
Exactly. And this is not something that's just happened going on. I mean, everything that I've ever seen from the time of slavery all the way up, it's always been men who were, worked and things like that, came home and they, did the household chores and things like that. So this is not something new. So this is something that has just grown up with from generation to
hmm
generation on different thoughts. Now things have changed, or like I said, men get together and talk. women get together and talk. And again, people bring their upbringings or non upbringing into, well, they how they go into relationships and how they deal with other people, and that's what makes it, you know what I'm saying? So if you're a man and you're getting all of your information from your
Mhm.
uncle because you didn't have a mom or your dad, or the men at the barbershop, or the men
Mhm.
standing on the corner, then that's their views. Now, no, they might not even have a woman,
No,
keep
no,
a
no.
woman or
But
whatever,
yeah,
but that's what you
that's
hear
what you're hearing,
from
and then
them.
you take that
That's what you're
to
hearing.
be factual, and to,
Right. You think
and I'm like, no, that's
exactly.
to me. When you go to the barbershop and you go hang out with your friends, that's man talk. I
Right.
guarantee you, that's not their reality. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, it's just like when women get together and y'all talk about whatever y'all talk about. That's not your
Right.
reality. Because when it
Exactly.
comes, oh, I do this in the home, I do that. No, you don't. You don't. And but it's
Right.
yeah, you put it on that front. But when you get behind those closed doors, you act
Mm-hmm.
accordingly. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You know your
Exactly.
role and you
And
know
and
how to
and
play
if
that role.
exactly. But even if you are a man or you are a woman that do that, that means that everybody do the same thing. And if you don't meet up to those expectations, then you're looked at as there's something wrong with you,
Right.
because that's what your peers or whatever are telling you. You know what I'm saying? That's fine for them and their
Mm-hmm.
house. That doesn't mean that it's good and works with me.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody was out there and said, okay, this is the expectation. There we go. Somebody set the
Right.
expectation, and now everybody, and if they don't fall of it, then they're less than.
So what I want to
No,
know is who is the person who came up with this laundry list of expectations on how a man or a woman should be.
exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? Because
Right.
half of this stuff
Exactly.
no sense any sense at all. So
Right.
so we
Exactly.
so coming from that perspective, big with all that, right? We're gonna move it a little bit forward. We're gonna come out the house and we're gonna take it to church. All
Okay.
right. So we both came up in the church, right? So we got we got
Right.
the porch and the pulpit view, right? So we're gonna come. We're gonna talk a little
Right.
bit about the church, right? And bring it
Mhm.
symmetrically. So how has the
Okay.
church shaped your views on womanhood, what it is to be a woman? Same question, but I'm add on this part and submission. Yeah, I
Ah.
wait there a little bit, just a little bit, not too much.
So I am the person that doesn't go doesn't cringe when I hear the word submit. So in a minute, the problem I have with uh, I think we need to go a little bit into the thoughts of seeds in society and in the church. No matter what accomplishments, no matter what we have done, no matter whether we are what you call the ideal woman or what society says or whatever, we are still considered less than in society and in the church.
Hmm.
So my problem is that we have people again who have antiquated views and in ways that they feel like women not only should be a certain way in the home, but they also should be a certain
Church,
church.
yes,
Now we know, right? We know more women in the church than they
absolutely,
are men.
absolutely.
So I have a problem with thinking or the rationale that women should only be able to serve as the choir director or the usher or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't have any higher roles as far as leadership
Mm-hmm.
in the church,
Right,
as far as being on the pulpit, preaching anything, because they are women.
exactly. Okay,
Okay. I have a problem with
okay.
that, because who are you to say that a woman is not called?
Mm-hmm.
Just like a man is not called. God speaks to women just like speaks to
Hmm.
men. So if he's speaking to everybody,
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
everybody, they should be able to go and to speak just like a man goes out and speak.
Hmm.
So I have a problem with that because the antiquated views that a lot of time people have in society is the same views that we decide we want to bring to church.
Right.
So, you know, just like we had we talked about leaders and we talked about leadership and how the Bible talks about, apostles and teachers and all of that, and the breakdown of the leaders, and women filled those roles just like men filled those
Hmm.
roles. So, the thought that women, can't be leaders in the church
Is
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 just out there to
yeah,
me. It's
yeah.
just,
And you
it's
know
just,
what? I'm going to say it, and I had this conversation with earlier today, and I'm just going to say it. Take it the way they want to take it, because if you know your words, you know your words. Okay?
mm-hmm,
And I will
mm-hmm,
say that there is they misconstrue the word when they talk about women
yes,
being silent in the church. This is one of the reasons why I said you have to study. The word says, I don't say it. The word says, I'm just repeating it, where it says, you have
mm-hmm,
to study to show yourself approved, that you
approve,
might rightly,
the word of truth. That's
rightly
right.
divide the
Rightly.
word of truth. Okay?
Word of truth.
Study
That's right. Right.
rightly.
Right.
Study right, so that you can get the word right, so that you could expound upon the word of God correctly. When Paul wrote that
Yes.
scripture, it was for a specific time and place. There were things going on in the church of, I believe it was Ephesus, that needed to be
Mm-hmm.
addressed. So this is the way, as him being the apostle, addressed that
Right.
situation. Didn't apply to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that
Right.
God is a God that he should not lie. So if God, first of all, they said God said it. God didn't say that. Let's get
Right.
that straight. But they'll go on and say,
Mm-hmm.
God said
Mm-hmm.
that women ought to be silent in the church. I said, God is
Right.
not going to contradict himself, because if that he
Mm-hmm.
would not have said let me get it for you, in the book of Acts, chapter 2, verse
Mm-hmm.
17, he would not say, it shall come to pass in the last days, saith God, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy. Your sons and daughters, male, daughters. Come
Female.
on,
Right.
right?
Right.
And he
Mm-hmm.
goes on to say, your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. So it's out his spirit on
Mm-hmm.
all flesh to do the work that he's commanded them to do. And the prophesying, or the prophetic voice, is a function in the church.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you're going to tell me
Yes.
that women cannot be in a position of leadership, and then you want
Right.
to try to pacify somebody. I'm going to tell it all. Try to pacify women. Now, she can be an evangelist.
Mm. Right.
We are all called to
Right.
evangelize. We all called to minister the word of God. Do the
Mm-hmm.
work of an evangelist.
Exactly.
Tell somebody about Jesus.
Right.
Okay, so no, we're not going to regulate and play that game and regulate our women and belittle them in or out of the church. I'm not going to do it. And whenever I see it,
Right.
I'm going to say something about it. And let's with straight Bible. So when you get this mindset that women are not supposed to be, they're supposed to be silent in the church, that's a lie. That's
Right.
a lie. A straight up and down lie. And the truth be told, if men would step up in the roles that they were called in by God, you won't have to worry about a woman trying to steal your spot or your position.
Right.
You know, they've been called to help not only in the natural but also in the spiritual. I can prove
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Jesus rose from the dead. So who were men ran.
And exactly.
One lied and cursed and said and denied knowing him. Man,
Right. Right.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
It was the women who would bring in incense and spices to take care of the body,
Yes,
even
right.
though he was long gone. But they still were
Right.
coming to do those things. And
Exactly.
instead of them seeing Jesus at the tomb because he already has risen,
Mm-hmm.
they met Jesus on the road. And instead of them administering to him, he gave them a message of ministry to carry back to the apostles who ran away.
Right.
Now, some people
Mm-hmm.
say that that was the first Mary. She was the first one to
Right.
evangelize and preach that Jesus has risen.
Got
Okay,
risen. That's right.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at all these other women who were deacons and who were honored for their roles that they played in the church. It's all in the Word.
That's
And
right.
how dare you say that a woman can't preach when she carried the Word?
Right. Exactly.
So no.
Right.
Long story short, women can preach and teach just as well as any man.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay,
And I
so
don't
no,
understand.
I don't get
Right.
it.
Right. Again, bring your feelings,
Hmm. Yeah,
from home, out there, your feelings into the church and think that they're supposed to float just because that's how you feel. Because a lot of the men feel like women are not up to par out, at home
yeah,
anyway.
yeah, yeah.
So again, that just feeds into the church.
You're not doing
They're,
what you're
they're,
doing.
they're
You're not doing what they want to put you in the kitchen and have you on culinary ministry just because you're a woman. I got news for you. Let me tell you something. Some women can't cook, and that's
right.
okay. But you want to put them in the kitchen just for the fact that they're women.
Right. Exactly. Feeding the multitude that's going home and get
Speaking
because
of the
that's where you think
multitude,
they should be.
speaking of the multitude, when Jesus fed the multitude, he ain't called the women and said, "Come on up here and fry up this fish."
Right.
See what I'm saying? We need to get out of that mindset,
Exactly.
brothers
Yes. Yes.
and sisters too, because some of them feel like a man is supposed to lead, and this is his responsibility. You say all that, but when the man actually just leaves,
Right.
okay, and asks you to do something, here come your attitude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Here come your
Exactly.
attitude. Okay, so
Exactly.
we talked about that, right? What do you feel? What is your definition? Because I'm gonna say something again about the word submission. Submission. We're not gonna talk about marriage. I just wanted to get your.
The word submit. Okay, yes, I was supposed to yes, I was supposed to reply to that. Okay. So I said that I don't have a problem with the word submit because to me, submitting is not you bowing down and saying, I'm just gonna do whatever the man say and that's it. But there's an order to it. To
Hmm.
me, if the man, is God and then man and then woman. So he is supposed to be he's under submission to God and to me, we are under submission to man and God. So, I don't have a problem with the word submit because if he is following the word of God and that is the focus of, you know what I'm saying? And he's bringing God into the head, then the word submit should not be a problem, because he's not treating you as that you're less than.
As
He's
some
treating
service.
you as
Mm-hmm.
you are, right, as you are
Mm-hmm.
equal to.
Right.
So he is coming to you as God has given him direction and everything, and coming to you, and he's telling you, God, this is what God told me and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And as a woman, you go back to him, okay, well, if God told you this, okay, so we're going to come together and pray about this or whatever and what God did, and then we go forth in the leadership. We talk about this when we talked about the leadership of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can't lead. Some people
Right.
have to
So,
be
somebody has to
followers.
fall in line
Okay.
and follow.
So right. Somebody have to fall in line and follow. So if the both of y'all are sitting up there and you trying to both lead, how is that going to go? Because
You're gonna
there's
bump
not
heads.
going to be any, you're going to bump heads, and it's only constantly going to be a
Mm-hmm.
competition, everything between the two of you. So somebody is going to have to. Now, when he comes to you or whatever, and he's telling you, and you might not feel that that is a direction or whatever that we should go in a relationship, again, he might be hearing it, but you not hearing it or whatever, then what are we supposed to do and
You
about
should
it?
pray about it.
Pray,
Oh.
Lord, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lord, direct him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if this is direction or whatever we go. He says that he spoke to you, whatever. But Lord, I need you to bring this together so that we're both on the same page and everything. So I don't have a problem with submit. Women
Mm-hmm.
like to hear the word
And
automatically. You are
it
bowing
triggers
down,
something in
right? Exactly. You know what's so funny about women when they hear the word submit, that it is such a hard thing for them to do when it comes to being in relationships, with men and everything like that. But you are in submission a whole lot of times when you go to work and you have a boss and you are doing what you have to do with work. You know what I'm saying? You
Come
are
on, somebody.
into what the boss is
What the
telling you
boss tells you to do
to
because
do.
you want to get that check. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're getting
Exactly.
paid. So whatever they tell you to do, you're going to do. No matter how you feel,
Exactly.
you're going to do it. And here's the thing. This is what I look at it. When I look at the word submit, and I like that analogy that you just used, right? But when it comes to partnerships and our partners in our lives, I think it's a translation. When you look at different translations, they take that word submit and they translate it or transliterate it.
Mhm.
Because there's a difference between translate and
Yes.
language to language. That's translation. But transliteration is, I think, is using another, substituting one word for another. And I think
Mhm.
when women hear submit, they run like Peter did, but
Right.
they run.
Right.
But I think another word would be respect.
Mhm.
Okay, when you respect your partner, your husband, and he asks you to do something, or he tells you about, gives you direction or instruction, because he's giving you instruction and direction as he should do as a man. Okay,
Mhm.
then you'll be easy. You respect him to do what he's asked of you. Okay, and that's along the same lines as when God gets instructions from man, and God submits or respects what God says, and he
Mhm.
acts accordingly.
Right. Now
Okay,
let me stop 1 second. Now another reason why women have a problem with submit is because they're with the word submit or whatever, is because they're with someone that God didn't put them with in the first place. So it is such a hard time, you having a hard time submitting to somebody that exactly you don't respect.
exactly,
So if you are in a situation that you don't respect somebody because they're not holding it down, to me, I've heard this, and I was so agree with this. And again, women might not agree with it or whatever. You don't have a problem submitting to somebody who's holding it down and doing what that make you feel comfortable, make you feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like they we talk about in society, whatever, that you be in your soft girl era. If you were in your soft girl era, you don't have no problem. The man makes you feel like you don't have to be a leader in everything, because he gives you the space to do what you need to do. He's holding it down with whatever he needs to do in the home or whatever. like that. So you don't have to be a leader. So you can then submit without a problem. But if you don't respect the person that you with, people that are around you, then yes, you're going to have a problem with the word submit.
Hmm.
Again, you're going to have a problem with that because you don't respect the people
Exactly.
that you're
That
with.
and that's the thing
Right.
about being and that goes I'm much into the marriage aspect because we're gonna be talking about that as part of another uh portion. But yeah, this coincides with that being unevenly yoked,
Yes.
and then
Mhm.
it's like you're saying, well, I married him. You know what you were getting into
Right. Exactly.
before you met him. You understand?
Mhm.
You
Exactly.
can't teach a dog new tricks, an old dog new tricks. You can't, because they just ain't gonna learn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and it's a true fact that you are not going to respect anybody for that matter who is not doing right by you.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's
Anyone,
in and out of the church. Right.
in
And
and
that's
out of the
in and
church.
out of the church. Right. If you're not going to submit to I don't want to say, if you don't respect the pastor funder,
You're not
then
going.
it's going to
Anything he say,
constantly be a problem.
you won't disagree with everything he says.
Right. Exactly. And what do you do in that situation? Not go to social media, not go to everybody and their mama and talk about it. You pray about it and remove yourself from that situation where you can be spiritually fed
Mm-hmm.
and be in things. So yes, if you are at a job and you no longer respect your boss and what your boss is doing and everything like that, what do you need to do? Start sending out your resume until you get a hit, and
Mm-hmm.
then you need to be moving yourself or deciding what you want to do about that job. I'm not staying someplace that I'm not happy. So
Right.
I'm not as
That's
when
it.
I'm
That's
getting
it.
paid.
That's
That
it.
if there's another opportunity, I'm gonna move on to someplace else.
You got to move somewhere
So
else.
yes,
Move somewhere else.
right. That word submit. I like the fact that we said that, it's not just no, it's not you bowing to, oh, you
No,
are the
no, no, no.
king
You're not
and you
worshiping the man. You're
that's
not
it.
worshiping the man.
Exactly,
Oh,
exactly.
no. And the
Uh,
thing is, desire that you worship him, run. Get away from him as
exactly.
quick as you can, because that is nobody but the devil, and that spirit needs to die. We are not having that today.
Right.
So that's not what that means.
Exactly.
Now, so
Exactly.
all right, so we those things, right? So now I want to just go real quickly into uh family, you know, and how we deal with the family and the pressures of family, right? So,
Mhm.
and you touched on this a little bit a couple of seconds
Mhm.
ago. So I want you to expound on it a little bit more. Do black
Okay.
women, because we're talking about us,
Right.
black folk, do black women feel pressure to choose between career success and softness or femininity, which is
Mhm.
perpendicular or the same as softness? Do you feel black women feel pressure to choose between the career success?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times, with men and a lot of time with other women who, that they have this issue with. When I say with men, men are threatened by women, a lot of black men are threatened by women who are successful and have, careers. Like I hear it all the time among women who, make in the six figures and things like that, that it's so hard for them to meet men and things like that because they feel threatened by how a woman is. I always, when you have a woman who's a professional, she's looked at like, oh, she's hard, or she's trying to be like the man, or anything like that, or if she even has a certain amount of education, master's degree, doctorate's degree, or anything like that. She's, look at a man who has those same qualifications. Among women, it is can be the same thing. It's a jealousy thing that goes on between women who have, a certain amount of education or things like that. It's like we're always
Hmm.
fighting when it comes to, women and finances and things like that. It's always that, no matter, but what they don't realize is that no matter how successful we are, we're still at the bottom of the barrel. And white, I mean, certain people, certain people will always make more than what we make. There, even black men make, in the profession will still sometimes make more than we make. We make good, but they still make more. So, it is a thing that we're constantly fighting against when it comes to, how much we make, how much, society looks at us and things like that. I mean, let's look at it. What we have, politicians, we
Hmm.
have women, DAs, and things like that. And automatically, when we see them and we see them in these positions or whatever, they're nasty. Look at
Right.
their attitude. They
Hmm.
have a bad attitude and
Hmm.
stuff like that. Jasmine Crockett is like she is because she has to be like that. She is because look at what she's around all the time. But
Right.
she gets criticism from them, but she gets just as much more criticism from us.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? From our kind who are looking at her and like, oh, look at her. We consider it if we have things or we talk and we speak up and everything like that.
Right.
We're loud.
Hmm.
We're loud. Why you have to be so nasty? Why you have to talk the
Yeah.
way that you talk,
Funny to me. It's funny to have women, right? Uh, who use their voice, and they're speaking loud. They're declaring uh, about different subjects and different things. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that get me is that people, men and women, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about women today. So women who build up their sisters
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time tear them down.
Tear them down. Exactly.
I can't understand that at all because when you use Jasmine Crockett as an example, and she's very vocal, and I
Mm-hmm.
champion that because we need more of that. We
Right.
need people to speak. We need people with powerful voices and powerful platforms to speak up for us.
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
now these are the same people who are criticizing her that when it comes time to vote,
Mm-hmm.
they won't vote for her.
Right.
They'll
Exactly.
be like, yeah, God, girl, get him, girl. Then when she said, I need your vote, well, I don't know, 'cause you sound, you a little bit rough around the edges. I can't really make up your mind, bro. What you want? What you want?
Exactly. Exactly.
The Bible says, don't
Exactly.
be halted between two opinions. And
Mm-hmm.
you gonna rock with her, or you're not.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't be like, yeah, Jasmine, go ahead, get him, girl. Tell him about it. And then when she said, okay, boom, I need y'all to go out and vote, and I'm doing that and now, and then y'all be like, huh? Y'all there for the
Exactly.
rah rah,
Right.
but when it comes down to business, I don't know. Sound like Peter to me. Sound like Peter to me.
Exactly.
Peter
Right.
was,
And
he
again,
denied Christ.
mhm. Right. Exactly. And again, you asked about the femininity. Again, we look at women and we think that, all women are supposed to be soft and, mild mannered and well spoken and everything like that, and all of that. There's a different, again, in certain situations, then those same people that you think are loud or whatever are not that way when they're in a certain
No,
situation and they're sitting at home. They're at a place where they
they
have
have
to
to be
fight. Their
assertive.
voice has to be loud. They
Mm-hmm.
have to be that way. So, again, and again, society, people want to put women in a box on how they should be and how they all the time. We have to be good mothers. We have to be, good cooks. We have to be good cleaners. We can work, but we only can work this amount of, this job or whatever.
Hmm.
They want to put all of these the
This
limitations
was the
on women.
limitation.
Right. All of these limitations on women, but men can just do whatever they want to do and then put, and things.
Well, in a
And
sense, men could do whatever they want to do, but we're not gonna go there. Go ahead.
no, okay. But yeah, okay. But again, women have the opportunity lot of things that they should be allowed to do anything that they want to
They
do.
should. They should be.
If God leads them to do that, then that's what they should. If God is pushing them and talking to them and telling them this is what they should do, there shouldn't be any limitations on what. Because
And
again,
they're
you
not.
don't know
And
what
there should.
destiny
The
God
only
has over their life.
the limitations that are on women are placed there by men. God
Right.
doesn't give us doesn't put those limitations on us.
Exactly.
Okay, we have orchestrated and designed a system that particularly holds women down. Okay,
Yes.
because we never, you know what I mean.
Right.
Lower pay,
Right.
little
Exactly.
to no recognition for what they do.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It
Yes.
makes no
Yeah.
sense. When in the reality of it is that's not how God created women. That's not what He created women for.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? There's a work
Right.
partnership with men. That's how that works. Partnership.
Yes.
Okay? You pick this
Exactly.
up, I'm gonna put it down. You put it
Right.
down, I'm gonna pick it up. You understand?
Mhm.
So you're working together.
Mhm.
But now because now society says this is what a woman's supposed to do.
Right.
Who told? My mama told. My daddy told me that. Who told them that? They mama told. Well, who told them that? Where, in other words, where did this stop?
Exactly.
I want to see the blueprint for that.
Right.
If women are the helpmeet for men, I want to see the blueprint where it says that women are subservient to a man.
Right.
I want to see that. Show it to me.
Right.
I got your back.
Mhm.
And I know there's other brothers who got your back, who will
Mhm.
speak, up for you,
Yes.
stand with you,
Yes.
lift you up. You know what I'm saying? And make sure that,
Mhm.
we got you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not going to put you in a box and say this is all you can be. At the same time, be all you can be.
Right. Exactly.
Put me in a box. Tell me
Right.
this is it. You can't go no higher than this box.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Then at the same time, be all
Mhm.
if not all things through Christ Jesus
All
who strengthens
things.
me.
That's
I,
right.
you,
Right.
me, she, and he can do
Right.
all things. Why you trying to put me in the box?
Exactly.
Don't do that. Don't
Right.
do that.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So, let's see now. I have something. Hold on. This is nice. This is nice. So you're getting the perspectives out, and I love it. So, I've got one more question for you.
Alrighty.
One more question for you. With all the things that have gone on with our sisters, this is where you at. No, I'm sorry. um, uh, all the things that are going on with our sisters, all the things that you face as black women, do you think that black women are allowed to rest? Do they have to take a break, get a break? Can they catch a break?
And no.
Oh, all right, then.
No, we
He
can't
said
catch a break
no,
at all.
no,
We can't,
no,
we
and
can't,
no.
we, no, we can't catch a break with with it at home, at work, at school, at anywhere. We can't catch a break on the line and being looked at. across the board. And across the board. And we will get into some of those ways so that we are
Yeah,
being
yeah,
looked at.
yeah.
But yes, no, no, no. We
Okay.
have a lot of work to be done.
A
A
lot of work
lot
to
of
be, a
work
lot
to
of
be
work to get done. So, but that's all the questions that I have for you. I'm gonna take you off the hot seat, but it's good to get
yeah.
these perspectives because last week we got the male perspective. This week we have the female woman perspective. And the conversation needs to be had. So, what do we have on tap for next week?
Well, next week we're still going to be on the topic of women, and we're going to look at women and how women treat other women and some of the things that is the downfall of women themselves. And then also we're going to look at one of the scriptures that I hear so much that has been going out. We're going to break down Proverbs 31
Ooh, break
because
down.
we're going to break it down next week because that is one of the scriptures that if there's people who started the ministries, everything, men bring it up, women bring it up. I want to be a Proverbs 31 woman and
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
kind of stuff like that. And we're going to look at the church and how women within the church and how it's looked at as far as, women and again being that Proverbs 31 woman, if you are a woman who is on the platform and is preaching, how other women look at you and how how you're looked at as being
Right.
a woman
Hmm.
or from other women
To get that
in
perspective.
the church.
Okay.
Yes, to get that
So,
perspective.
we're going to talk about that
Yes.
Proverbs 31 woman, and we're going to get to some
Yes.
details about uh, do women um, support each other?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. There have been some men who have been out here lately who's done different things like that. And there's been some controversy, about, how a woman should be. So that's
Hmm.
why we're one in there. So we
Okay.
can delve
So we
into
can
that a
do so we
little
can break
bit.
it down. Okay, so that sounds good.
Yes.
Cause that was it for
Yes.
me. I really enjoyed talking to you, playing the reporter, asking the questions, put my little reporter hat on and everything. It was
Uh,
great. And but we gotta encourage and continue to encourage each other, as a race
yes,
together and
exactly.
develop unity. So we're gonna keep talking and keep these types of conversations up. That's what the porch
Yes.
and the pulpit vibe is like. You're gonna get your tea and you're gonna get your tea and you're gonna get a taste of both, church and home. So Cheryl, I thank you for we thank everybody for just tuning in. And
Yes. So we like to thank you for another joining us on another conversation on the porch and the pulpit. And until next time, we'll be right here. And we hope that you tune in and you share and you like and comment.
amen. We'll see you soon.
See you soon.
The things you never say. We've been